Welcome again to our class today. We are going to be taking English, and our topic today is composition writing. What's our topic, class?
Composition writing.
So what's our topic once again?
Composition writing.
So by the end of the lesson, the learner should be able to, what should you be able to do? Write a good composition. Sindio? Write a good composition. A composition is coming up with a story of your own. Coming up with a story of your own. So when you're talking about composition, or anytime you have been told, write a composition should not be something that somebody else has done. A composition should be your own creation. So that means, number one, composition need what we call originality. Can everybody say originality?
Originality.
Say again, originality.
Originality.
Originality means whatever you are writing, it is you, yourself. You are the one who have written it. It's wrong for you to copy a composition of another person. It is wrong for you to write a story that you read in another story or in a storybook. That will be penalized, or that will not be, you will not get good marks, because you are not creative, you are not original, you are not the person, you are just saying what somebody else said. So composition, anytime you will hear the word composition, you must be you. Use your own idea. Use your own words. Use your own frames. Use your own things the way you yourself, you know, or you are writing the story. So story number one, it needs somebody to be doing what? You need to be original. Are we together? Yeah. Number two, for you to be able to write a good composition, you also need to be organized. What am I going to say? And what am I not going to say? You need to have your points clear. You need to have your story very clear. Somebody can flow with you. Then there's another part, what I've just said, is called fluency. Can you say fluency?
Fluency.
Fluency is how your story follow each other. So if I'm writing a story, every story must have a beginning and have an end. Are we together? And then your ideas should be following each other, one after the other. It's not proper for you to write a good story. You cannot write a good composition when you are mixing your events. You are waking up at 10, you are sleeping at 7 a.m. Then you wake up before you sleep. It cannot be a good composition. So a good composition should always look for originality, and also it should have very, very good organization. Organize yourself, organize your time, organize your ideas, because yes, you may have the right idea, but if you are not organized, if you have not organized your idea, you are not going to get it. Fluency, let your sentences follow each other. Sometimes I do say that composition should be like a chain. All your sentences and your ideas should be like a chain. Have you ever seen a chain? Yes. Do you know a chain? Yes. There is the way they have been hooked together. Sindio? One after the other. This one joins to the other one joins to the other. The same. When you are writing a composition, you should always be guided by that idea. That my first sentence and my second sentence should be agreeing together. Are we together? Yes. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Then my first paragraph and my second paragraph should be following each other. So the first paragraph, after the first paragraph, I get to the next paragraph, they agree. Somebody can flow together with me until the end of the composition. Let's try to look at very fast some of the common mistakes. Common mistake that we do when you are writing composition. Some of the common mistakes that we do, number one, is what we call disjointed words. Can everybody say disjointed word?
Disjointed words.
Disjointed words. Sometimes when we are writing, we tend to separate words. Maybe I want to write a word like disappear. Disappear. So if I want to write the word disappear, some of us, but instead of writing disappear, you separate. You write this, then you come here, appear. This, then you write appear here. That is disjointing. Or you are separating words. Maybe I say the word speaking. Instead of writing speaking as one word, I write here speak. Then I leave a word. Then you leave a space in between your word. So if you are going to be writing a composition whereby you are disjointing words, you are not writing these words together. You are not combining them. You are separating words. That's a very common mistake that we do. Number two, we also have what we call spelling mistakes. Spelling mistakes. So anytime maybe you are writing a composition, be careful about spelling mistake. So when you are writing, make sure you use right spelling. Sawa. Are we together? Yes. Class 8, are we together? Yes. So you must make sure you use your spellings well. Number three, we also have the use of abbreviation. Abbreviation. So in composition, we are mostly discouraged not to use abbreviations. Are we together? Yes. You are not supposed to use what? Abbreviation. For example, you say KMTC. That's not right. When you are writing a composition, don't use abbreviation. Write the whole names. Kenya. Do you know the meaning of the KMTC is what? Kenya? Medical Training College. Medical Training College. So in your composition, if you are going to get good grades, avoid use of what? Abbreviation. Just use the words. Just use the old word. Maybe you are writing by, like what? KPLC. KPLC. So don't write there, the people of KPLC came to our home. That will be wrong. You must write the whole word, which is what? Kenya Power and Lighting Company. Are we together there? Yes. So another mistake that we also make is the mistake of use of mother tongue. Use of mother tongue. Maybe let me explain for you what I mean by use of mother tongue. Use of mother tongue is whereby you use a language that is not English. That's how. Are we together? Yes. Any other language that is not English, that is called use of mother tongue. For example, if you are writing a composition, then you use the word mama. Mama Mary. Mama Mary came to our home. This word Mama Mary is not an English word. Sindio? Yes. Are we together? Yes. English, mama is not an English word. It's a Kiswahili word. When you write a composition, then you use the word like Mama Mary. That is called use of mother tongue. Avoid mother tongue. Or avoid using some sheng. Some of you even sometimes use sheng in English. So when you are writing, when you are doing a composition, avoid using what we call mother tongue. Now, we have said some of the common mistakes. Maybe there are many others. I'm just trying to rush through. Number one, we have said is what? Disjointed words. Number two is what? Spelling mistake. Number four is what?
Use of abbreviation.
Number five?
Use of mother tongue.
So when you are making a sentence, you must make your sentence, your sentences should be grammatically correct. You remember what when you are talking about this, we are talking about subject, we are talking about verb. They must agree. For example, if you are talking about a singular noun must always take a singular verb. John is coming home. But you cannot say, John are coming home. Some of you, when you're writing composition, you don't take care of your verb. Maybe you're talking about a singular verb and a plural noun. You must make sure you do take care of that. Let's come to the second part of what I wanted us to cover. Is what we call parts of a composition. Parts of a? Class 8, parts of a? Composition. So parts of a composition. For you to have a good composition, a composition is just like a song. Have you ever composed a song? You can also compose a song. Every song must have three parts. Number one, the first part of the composition should be introduction. Everybody say introduction. Introduction. Every composition must have a what? An introduction. You cannot just say you are starting a story, you are in the middle of it. You must take your time. Introduce your story. Give an idea of what is the main thing you are going to talk about in your composition. Number 2, we have what we call the body of a composition. Everybody say body of a composition.
Body of a composition.
So with the body of the composition, here is the main thing. Where now you are going to talk, what is it? What are you going to talk about? What is the real message that you want your reader to know? What's the real message that you want to sink in the person you are reading? Then number 3, we have what we call conclusion of the composition. Everybody say conclusion of the composition.
Conclusion of the composition.
So we have 3 parts of a composition. Number 1 is what? Introduction. That's how. Then number 2 is what? Body. Number 3 is what? Conclusion. A good composition that will earn you grade, that will earn you marks, it must be a composition that has those 3 key parts. Introduction, introduce. And maybe for us to move on, let's try and look at introduction today. Everybody say introduction. Can you say again introduction?
Introduction.
Have you ever participated in any poem or in any presentation in church or at school? So you have ever participated? Yes. There is one person who come and say, ladies, gentlemen, before you is what? Revival Sanctuary School, ready to present. Studio. That person, what he is doing, is giving an introduction. He's trying to tell the listeners or the audience that this is a school called Revival Sanctuary. What we have a song. What's the title of the song? The song maybe is whatever name he has said there. So the person who is listening is ready to know, this is what I expect. This is what I'm looking forward in this song that I'm going to listen. So number 1, you must remember, introduction is the beginning of an essay. Beginning of a story. So anytime you are starting a composition, you must know my introduction is how I'm going to begin my story. Then number 2, you must bring it must give a suggestion. Give a suggestion of what the story will be about. So when you're writing a story, remember the first part of your story must give an idea, must give a suggestion. Somebody can say, oh, this story is about Peter and his or her mother. This story is about a journey to Mombasa, which started at 11. So somebody can have a suggestion. Somebody can have an idea. What is the real thing that you are going to talk about in your story? Then another thing you should also remember, it should not be long. It should be short. Should be short, whereby it should be about 2 to 4 lines. So when you're writing a composition, sometimes where students have a problem. You want to start a story, you want to start like a whole paragraph. No, your introduction should be very short. Should be very, very short. Here, you are going to introduce the time of the story. You are going to introduce the place the story was taking place, and also you are going to introduce who are the people that are involved. That's how. And then what were they doing? So it should capture those 4 things. Your first line should let us know who are these people who are involved in my story? Where were they? What were they doing? And maybe what time was it taking place? So that is a good introduction. No, it should not be too long. If your introduction is too long, then you're not going to you're not going to capture the mind of your reader. You must let this reader know this is what I'm going to bring his mind and his focus to what you want to read. Then number 3, you must also remember it should be interesting. Your story to begin should be interesting. Are we understanding? Yes. Are we understanding? Yes. So anytime you're writing a composition, your introduction is so important. Some of the people lose marks immediately when the reader starts reading your composition, Because here in the introduction is where the reader creates a mind. He knowing this boy, can he write or he cannot write? Maybe the story, is it boring or will it be interesting? Maybe this girl, is he able to write a good thing? Because your story introduction should be very interesting, very capturing. Something that can pull the mind of your reader. Something that can cause your reader to say, higher, I want to read more. I want to know more. What might have happened to John? What might have happened to their journey to Mombasa? Maybe what might have happened on the flight as they were going. So he's getting attracted to your story. Are we together?
Yes.
Tunaelewana? Yes. So what are the three things about introduction that you have said? Number one, it gives the beginning of the story. Number two, next one.
It should be short.
2 to 4 lines. Then the last one.
Should be interesting.
So your story should be the introduction should be very interesting. If there is somewhere, if you want to get good marks, either in the KCP or the exam that you will be doing next, please work and take time. By the way, writing a good composition is work. It's not easy. It's something that you must work on it. You must dedicate your time to work on it. And the first part, now that we are still in the beginning of the year in class 8, try to put strength in your introduction. Work on how can I introduce a story. Maybe if I want to talk about a journey, how can I introduce that journey? How can I introduce my story? You can even take your time, just write some sentences, check if the introduction is interesting, and you can still compare notes with your friends. That's how. Yes. Let's go to number 3. Number 2. The second part of a composition is what we are calling the body. It's called what?
Body.
It's called what?
Body.
Remember we have said composition has how many parts?
3.
The first part is what?
Introduction.
The second part is what?
Body.
The body. So when you have the body here is where you talk about the main idea. So remember here in my introduction, maybe it's a journey, I've tried to introduce who are the people involved. Where were we going? At what time was the journey? Are we together?
Yes.
Umeelewa hivyo? So that's my introduction. What was the time? I must make sure my reader have an idea. This journey was either in the morning, this journey was either late in the evening, or was it during when it was raining, or was it during a cold time? How prepared was I for the journey? That one will be captured in my introduction. So, yes. Who am I going with? So the reader must have an idea. Peter was being accompanied by his mother to the first day in school. Are we together? Yes. So that idea. Then after that, now there is a main idea. What is it that was this journey? Why were we going there? We were going maybe for holiday or for the holidays. We were traveling to Mombasa for holiday. Maybe I was taking my daughter Mercy to join Form 1. Yes. That's the main idea. My living here, my starting my journey, we were going for her to join Form 1. Are we together? Yes. So that now the main idea of the composition will now come to the body. Are we together?
Yes.
Are you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So the main idea, this is where you explain and you measure on what is the main idea. If it is an accident, maybe you have been taught to write a composition about an accident. Here is now where you are trying to tell us more. Actually, what happened? What happened? How did the people came to rescue? Who are the people who came? How are they trying? What were some of the challenges? How did they overcome? What was the problem? That's what now you are dealing with in the main story. Now, remember here, I remember one day telling you, you should always say two things. You must have a problem. Are we together? Tunaelewana vizuri? When you are writing a composition, you must have a problem. And then also you must have what we call, you must also have to have a solution. You cannot just say a problem. In your body, you must have something what is called a solution. Are we together? Yes. Then finally also your main point should also have a challenge. What are some of the challenges? Because when you are doing, even if you are going for a journey, that journey will not be just swift, to travel without no problem. Wow, we are in Mombasa. No. somewhere, somehow, we may have encountered some challenges. And remember, I've said before, another thing about composition, it must be original and it also must be real. Are we together?
Yes.
Class 8, are you understanding me?
Yes.
Your composition must be original and also must be real. Something that is happening on earth. Don't write something that happens in the moon. That's not true. There is no way a cow can hit a car. Are we understanding each other? Yeah. A cow cannot go and hit a car. It is the car that can hit a cow. Are we together there? Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Your story must be real. Write a real story. So if I'm going to Mombasa, I cannot go to Mombasa. I go to Kisumu, then I go to Voi, then finally I reach Mombasa. That will be wrong. If I'm going to Mombasa, I must start to my Nairobi, I must reach maybe, I must go Machakos, I must go Makueni as I continue going. Am I talking to somebody?
Yes.
Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yes.
So your story must be there. In the process of your story, maybe there is a challenge, there is a problem, and that problem should always have a solution. Don't just say we were there, we were stuck there, we remain there, then just something happened, we get out. You must be able to show some of the... so now here, when you're writing the body, in the body of your story, you also need to do what? Here is whereby you must use both long and short sentences. Short, medium, and short sentences. So when you're writing the body of your story, just listen to me. Sindio, you need to make in your body, here you can use sometimes long sentences, you can use some medium sentences, and sometimes you can even use short sentences. But I always prefer, or I always advise my children, for you to write a good composition, endeavor to use short sentences. Sawa? Tunaelewana vizuri? Avoid long sentences. Just use medium and short sentences. Remember here also, organize your paragraphs. Paragraphs comes here very handy. Paragraphs, when you're writing paragraph, should be very, very important. Now, in the paragraph, maybe one of the things I want to say, every paragraph should bring in a new idea. Every paragraph should do what? Every paragraph should bring in a new idea. Should bring a new idea. So when you're writing your paragraph, don't start mixing paragraphs. So for example here, if I'm now talking about the problem should be just one paragraph. I'm trying to explain what was happening in that problem. Then when I come to the solution should also have its own paragraph. So don't mix the solution and the problem in one paragraph. That will not be good creativity. Creativity demands that every paragraph you bring must come in with a new idea. Sometimes I mark your composition, I really wonder. Somebody is repeating the same thing. Repetition is another mistake that most of the children do in composition. You are just repeating yourself. Why? Because you have not organized your paragraph. I'm now talking about we leaving home, or we are on our way to Mombasa. That will be a whole paragraph. Then now we are in Mombasa. In Mombasa, being on the way is not the same. That's another thing. So I will measure another paragraph that now dealing with our reception in Mombasa. Are we together? Maybe what do we start there? Maybe I can come again with another problem that came up when we are in Mombasa. Every paragraph should bring in a new idea. Can you say that?
Every paragraph should bring in a new idea.
Say with energy.
Every paragraph should bring a new idea.
A new idea. That's why if you want to achieve what I said here, fluency, don't repeat. Whatever you had left, don't go back there. So if maybe I'm saying we have left home, my father started the journey. We are in the car with my dad and my brother, my younger brother there. We are already off. from home. Immediately we are off from home. Even if I forget anything, maybe we forgot a pen, maybe we forget to carry something, don't go back there. Now deal with whatever is on the way. Sasa. When now the way you have come to the end of your way, now you are in Mombasa. Anything that deals with on the way, leave it out. Concentrate with now you are in Mombasa. Somebody getting helped?
Yes.
Are you getting some confidence you can write a good composition?
Yes.
Are you sure? Yes. So that's very, very important. Now let's go to the last part of composition writing. So last part of composition writing is what we call conclusion. Everybody say conclusion.
Conclusion.
Say again, conclusion.
Conclusion.
So conclusion is also a very important part of any composition. You cannot write a composition without an end, or you leave your reader hanging. Ajui iliisha ama ikuisha. No. If you are writing a composition, you must work together with your reader and bring him to your point that you will be able to know now this story is coming to an end. Are we together?
Yes.
Are we together?
Yes.
So number one, you must remember this is the final part of composition. Class 8. What is a conclusion? The final part of a composition. Now here you pause. We are in Mombasa. We had gone for an holiday. Maybe I've explained how we spent that holiday. First week, second week, the places we visit. I'm already done. Now I want to finish my composition. The final part is called the conclusion. Now here you sum up everything about your composition. You bring a conclusion, you sum it up. Most of the time, I always tell my children, now you look for what's the main thing you want to do in that composition. Then number 2, you must remember, it must always end with a lesson learned. Everybody say lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
So composition should end up with some lesson, or either it can also be an advice. What are you advocating for? What would you advise? Sasawa. Now that I've been reading the story, what is it that you want me to go with it up? Then that is called there. Number 2, understand. It should be short. It should be short. It should be what? Short. Don't write a long one, not another big paragraph. It should just be like also the introduction. The introduction we have said is short. The end of a story should also be very, very short. 2 to 4 lines are enough for you to be able to write a good composition. So class 8, we have learned something. Have you learned something?
Yes.
What have you learned? Who can tell me one thing that you have learned? Yes, Kimson. How to write a good composition. Somebody else? What else? What has come to you? Yes. The 3 parts of the composition. Can you give us the 3 parts of a composition? 1. 2. 3. Conclusion. Are we together? Yes. What else have you learned about it? Yes. Good one. Every paragraph should bring in a new idea. My good friends, if you can do that, you can write a very good composition.